Well, hello, everybody. This is Jared Ulrich, the yard sale artist, here with another I Finished It video for our Crusaders Club members. Thank you guys for being Crusaders Club members. We greatly appreciate that. And on this I Finished It, I actually read a book, like a pretty hefty book. Okay, let me not lie. I read 3 books. All right, this is The Best of the Destroyer. This is a book that came out in about 2008, I want to say. Let's just go with that. 2008. And it actually collects 3 of the Destroyer novel series by Warren Murphy and Richard Sapir. If you're not familiar with it, you might be familiar with the 1985 movie Remo Williams and the Adventure Begins, which stars Fred Ward. And that's really the whole reason that I decided to give this book a go. Fred Ward passed away back in May of 2022. And what a cool actor. He's a bunch of movies that I've seen him in that I've always enjoyed. But when he passed away, of course, it made me think of some of his classic movie roles like Remo Williams. And I knew it was based on the novel series, The Destroyer. And I've seen a lot of Destroyer, books in my yard sale adventures and my Goodwill adventures and that kind of thing. And I was at my local Christian mission when I saw this one. Now, I said I've seen them on the bargain hunt trail before. I bought a big run of them once at a library sale. I mean, there's a lot of these books, by the way. I haven't looked to see how many, but it's over 100. It might be over 200. There's at least 100 some odd in this series of Destroyer novels. And so when I've always been interested in them, especially since I saw Remo Williams back in the 80s, and I found out that it was a book series probably in the later 80s, and I've always been interested, but I never took the plunge. I'd kind of buy a bulk and then resell them. I wouldn't really read them. And then, like I said, Fred Ward passed away back in May of 2022, and it just, of course, it made me sad. I was a big Remo Williams fan. Of course, Tremors, The Right Stuff. Dude was in a lot of things, but it made me think of Remo Williams. So when I was at the Christian Mission and I saw this on the shelf, and it was the best of, and it had 3 novels, it just seemed more accessible. When you go to look at a book series and you see that it's got, for some reason, I'm thinking there's like 180 some. It might have broken 200. I'm not sure of the Destroyer novel series. That's overwhelming. But when they present you with this like packaging of, hey, here's 3 of the novels, the best of, as selected by, I think Richard Sapir is the one that's still with us. One of the 2 original writers selected them. And you go, okay, well, 3 novels I can handle. And it's in a nice, cool little package, and I can, take that and read it. So that's what I did. I read it. The 3 novels included in this one are The Chinese Puzzle, which came out in 1972, Slave Safari, which came out in 73, and The Destroyer Assassin's Playoff that came out in 1975. So all 3 of them are from the early mid 70s. That's when the series got its start. And so I finally dove in. All I knew was the movie. And I gotta say, I think the movie really well reflected the books. Like, I could really hear, especially Chun and Remo. I could hear those voices in this book. All 3 novels, and you know what? They're really good. They're fast paced. Sometimes so fast they can be hard to keep up with. That's one of the interesting things about how Murphy and Sapir write, is that they'll just go. They're not afraid to change topics in the middle of a chapter. um, they're brisk. They always, all 3 of them seemed like they were over faster than they should have been. There always feels like there should have been more. Like they could have really, broad. Like this whole thing could have been 1 novel, but it's 3. And that kind of gives you a clue. It's a decent sized book, but it's 3 novels, so they're brisk. They're brisk, fast reads. They're fun reads. All the fun from them really come from Chun. He's definitely the most interesting character. Just like if you saw the movie back in 1985, Chun has this way about him that's very comical, very wise, very dangerous. It's a really interesting mix for the character. And of course, Remo also has his own brand of humor, and he's also very dangerous, and he's a little more gruff. not as refined. Just two fun characters to play with. That's now I get how a book series could run 180, whatever odd number they're on now, starting in the early 70s, how they can keep going and going with it because they have that foundation of those two really good characters. And then there's their boss, who I think is Mr. Smith. He heads the like super secret agency thing that they work for. He was played in the movies by Wilford Brimley. And again, I could make all those connections with the book. So here's what I learned. Okay. The 1985 movie is really quite good, and it really captures the essence of these novels really well. Getting from the movie to the books, these are brisk reads, and they're fun reads. Some of the topics can be challenging. I mean, like particularly slave safaris about human trafficking in Africa and in the 70s, and there's some challenging topics in here. But you but surely read that and you put yourself in the mind of the times, and good, interesting, good reads. I enjoyed The Destroyers, the three books that I've read now: Chinese Puzzle, Slave Safari, and Assassin's Playoff. Will I read more Destroyer? Yeah, I think I will. I think this little best of three book series has really pushed me to say, hey, if I see some more of those good runs of novels, library sale, Goodwill, yard sales, pick them up. The hard part is going to be the completionist in me is going to want to read the whole series starting from number one, and that could probably be tricky. I've noticed it's pretty easy to find them once they get sort of over number 60, and all the ones before 60 become harder to find because they didn't know it was going to be such a big hit, and there's fewer copies, and they're older. Probably worth looking in to see if I can read them perhaps digitally, Kindle wise, if that's still a thing. Anyways, guys, Best of Destroyer, I'm glad I picked it up. I think it cost me a whopping 50 cents, at the Goodwill, maybe less. Well worth it. Very interesting. Long story short, I know I'm at 7.5 minutes and I'm still talking about this book. Long story short, if you liked 1985's movie with Fred Ward, may he rest in peace, he's the whole reason I decided to take this plunge. If you liked that, I would recommend the books. They reflect each other really, really well. And with that, I will wrap it up. Thank you again for being Crusaders Club members. It means the world to us here at Longbox Crusade headquarters. It's the whole reason we take a little time out of our day to shoot little extra videos like this for you guys. If you're not a Crusaders Club member, you're watching this video, that generally means it's been maybe about a year since this video has been out on our Patreon page for our awesome Crusaders Club members. I will put that banner at the bottom of the screen. So if you'd like to join and see this stuff way, way, way early, and get to vote on show content and get put in for free raffle prizes and all kinds of cool stuff, you can join our Crusaders Club. It's scrolling at the bottom of the screen. It's patreon.com/longboxcrusade. You can join in for as little as $1 a month. We'd love to have you. We have a great community over there, folks. They always show up in our chats and our live streams, and they're just awesome. It's a really great family we've grown on a Longbox Crusade, and we'd like to invite you to join it. For those of you who are watching this fresh and new because you're already Crusaders Club members, thank you so much. Thank you so much for carrying the ball for Longbox Crusade. We appreciate the heck out of it. And until next time, I'm going to act froze.